Bill Schmarzo, how are you doing? Welcome to the Data Strategy Show. 66 questions, data leaders unplugged. How are you, Bill?
Samir, I'm doing great. And I am very excited about this. I always seek out opportunities where I can really embarrass myself.
Oh, absolutely.
66 questions in a machine gun style sounds like the perfect chance for me to totally make myself sound like an idiot.
We are going to have some fun. Okay, Bill, let's start the clock. Bill, okay, how do you start your day?
I get up and run in the morning.
Good. So tell me, what's your biggest strength?
I hope it's my willingness to be wrong.
Excellent. And what's the biggest learning experience you've had?
It's teaching.
Teaching. Okay. Yeah. Tell me, what's your favorite time of day?
Morning. Earlier in the morning, better.
You're like me.
Morning person.
You're like me. What's the one vice that you wish you could give up?
Oh, pizza.
Oh, I just had that for lunch. Any kind of pizza?
Oh, I love Chicago deep dish pizza.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
When I eat one of those things, I go see my doctor and all my numbers go off the scale. Like,
when I was a kid,
I know where you've been eating.
Yes. Yeah. When I was a kid, the first place I had pizza in London was at the Chicago Pizza Pie Factory. They opened a place here in London. It was unbelievable.
Chicago pizza style is the best.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Listen, what makes you angry?
Hypocrisy.
Okay. And what's your best trait?
Wow. I hope it's listening. My wife would disagree.
That's a good, I'm sure they all would. Oops. Mine's not here at the moment. So what are you most excited about these days?
I'm always excited when I have a chance to sit down and talk to and work with customers.
Mm-hmm. Great. Perfect. And what's the best compliment you've ever received?
I think when people tell me that after I've explained something, they'll go, "Oh, that seems simple."
Yes. And then they go away and they come back how many times?
No, sometimes they go away and they actually act on it.
Awesome. That is
so
brilliant.
maybe my superpower is that I can.
Oh, no, don't say it. Don't say it. I've got that question.
All right.
When are you most inspired?
When I'm not running, early in the morning, when it's dark and I'm out running, I all kinds of thoughts fly through my head.
Yeah. Hopefully you don't bump into lampposts.
I'm more worried about the skunks and the raccoons. But sometimes I'll carry a notebook in my back pocket and I'll stop under a stoplight, under a light.
Oh, under a light. Yeah. And you'll just
write down a note or a comment, or I'll send myself a text message.
That's great. That's a good idea. What makes you smile the most?
Oh, being around friends and family.
That's great. That's great. What's the one thing people don't know about you?
I was in a movie.
Oh, now I got to ask you, which one?
Oh, you never have heard of it. The movie was originally called Dribble.
Dribble?
Dribble, yeah. It was made in 1979. It was terrible. So I had
was it about basketball or was it
about
children?
Basketball?
Okay.
It was about basketball. It's awful, yeah.
Sounds great.
It actually changed the name of the movie. I'm not sure what it's called anymore, but my kids for Christmas one year found a VHS tape of the movie.
No way. That must have been awesome. Oh my God. Listen, what kind of role did you play? Was it a speaking part, a non-speaking part?
Non-speaking, I was an extra. The main premise of the movie was a women's basketball team gets mixed up and actually ends up having schedules against the men's army team.
Oh.
And I was the student assistant on the men's army team.
Right.
And the best part about that was that Pete Maravich, who was a great American basketball player, was in the movie. And during shoots, he was out shooting trick shots all the time. It was so much fun. It was very fun. The movie's terrible, but the experience was fun.
Dribble. We'll all have to go and find it. What makes you feel most like yourself?
I think when I'm standing in front of students and teaching them.
That's good. That's good. And what are the 3 things that you can't live without?
Friends, family, and my religion, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. And what is that?
My religion? I'm a Christian Congregationalist.
Okay, cool. So what's your current TV character obsession?
Ha 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 ha! That's so good. Oh my gosh. Well, right now we're wrapping up the TV series Mrs. Maisel. I don't know if you've watched
Yes,
that.
yeah. Started watching season 4.
Yeah, I love the Lenny Bruce character.
She is brilliant. Yeah,
he is. No, Lenny Bruce.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I'm totally shaggified by Lenny Bruce. I want to go read everything he's ever done or watch everything. Lenny Bruce, man.
Good. Oh, the show is amazing. The show is amazing.
Yeah.
So the next one actually doesn't really matter because the last show you binge watched was Mrs. Maisel. So what's the most adventurous thing that you've done in your life?
Jeez, adventurous. I'm not exactly adventurous.
Really? Bill, I can't imagine
really
that.
Not. I'm trying to think anything I've done that's been really.
If there's nothing there.
I mean, I'm about as a boring a person. If you look in a dictionary next to boring people, there's gonna be my picture right next to it.
No, okay, I'll tell you what. Let's go on to the next question. How would you define yourself in 3 words?
Pragmatic, realistic, mentoring.
Awesome. Good. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
No matter how the day goes, it's never as bad as it seems, or it's never as good as it seems.
Great. Excellent. And what's your most overused phrase?
Chase your passion.
Yeah,
my kids hate it when I say that. The kids hated it when I said it early on. Yes. 2 of them, actually, all 3 of my kids now are chasing their passion. But when I say
they are good.
I say chase your passion.
Yeah. It seeped in somehow, didn't it? Right?
Yeah.
So tell me, what's your pet peeve?
I mean, it goes back to hypocrisy and how people they will have a different opinion of a situation depending on who the person is.
Right.
The unequal application of expectations drives me nuts.
Yeah. There's a lot of that around, unfortunately.
Hypocrisy is a big problem.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is now. I hear you. So do you remember the moment your career completely changed?
Yes. I'd been in the data business a long time. I was hired by Yahoo as their vice president of advertiser analytics to help build the analytics to help their advertisers optimize their spend across the Yahoo ad network.
Yep.
Didn't know about the space. So my team, there's 3 of us, went on, we did a 2-month tour shadowing and talking to all these advertisers and agencies. And we're about 3 weeks into the project. And we're in New York. We just talked to the Coca-Cola ad agency. We're at Santa Waldorf, we're at the bar. The project is a friggin' disaster.
Oh, God.
I've learned, we're 3 weeks in, we've learned nothing. I've actually, I left Business Objects. I called my boss there and wanted to know if my job was still open. It was just it was going nowhere. So we're at the bar, we're drinking too much. And one of my guys with me, his name was Dar. And Dar's been drinking more than me, and Dar's younger than me. And he leans up, he said, Bill, you're so frustrated. What's going on? And I just said, this thing is, I said, this is a disaster. We're not learning anything. And he goes, it's because we're talking to he's all drunk. And he leaves me, he goes, we're talking to the wrong people. And I said, what do you mean we're talking to the wrong people? We're talking to the people who spend the money on the Yahoo ad network. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, no, we're talking to the analysts. We're talking to the data people. We got to be talking to the people who make the decisions. And when he said, make the decisions, I went, what do you mean?
Yeah.
He goes, it's the media planners and buyers and the campaign managers who are making decisions how to spend the money. It's not the analyst people. It's not the data people. And it was that time I realized it was all about decisions. And that's my epiphany point. It's like,
that is amazing.
God, I get it. And
that is amazing.
It was, So everything since that point in time, I realized that it isn't about asking better questions from a data and analytics perspective. It's about making better decisions.
Correct.
So anyway.
I love that. Listen, what makes you feel most accomplished?
Oh, when I publish a blog or I finish a customer presentation, and I get feedback from them, and they want more and such. Anytime somebody wants more, I think that's an accomplishment. I think not to go too long on the answer here, but I think the challenge that I have sometimes is I don't know when to shut up. You just said
you listening is something that you do well.
Yeah, but sometimes I get so excited about a situation
the passion.
My passion kicks in.
Yes.
And sometimes you want the audience, you want to leave them wanting more.
You do. You want them to feel, I want to take that back. I want to think about it. And I want to, that guy said amazing things and I just want to, sleep on it. Yeah. So listen, what's your biggest regret?
Well, given how my life has turned out, none.
Perfect. What makes you happy?
Anytime I can spend time with friends and family.
That's
cool. I light up. It's so much fun.
Yep. What's heavily played on your music playlist right now?
Oh, I'm into funk. So I'm doing a lot of Ohio players. I got some Earth, Wind and Fire.
Oh, yes.
Parliament. Yeah.
You know what? If I showed you my playlist, it's very, very similar.
Yeah, I like funk.
Yeah. Same here. I grew up on that stuff. What 3 things are at the top of your bucket list?
Just did one 2 weeks ago. Went to Yosemite.
Yeah? Oh, okay. Cool.
We still want to go to Yellowstone. And I've never been to the Grand Canyon. So a lot of my bucket list things are going to places that I've never taken the time to go see and experience.
But it sounds like you like the outdoors, you like trekking and stuff like that. So that's
I like outdoors. Yep.
So what's your guilty pleasure?
Chai tea latte at Starbucks.
Okay. You have that all the time when we're on. Yeah, exactly.
I have it all the time, period. Yes. This stuff has me hooked. There must be drugs in it because
they make it so sweet as well, don't they?
Yeah. Well, I've had them cut down. I only take 3 pumps.
Okay.
Not the normal 5 or 6.
Right.
So it was too sweet. But even then it just forever it is when I drink it, I feel like
tickles you.
It tickles me. If I'm writing a blog or writing on a presentation or something, I'm just like, now I'm fired up. That's got me going.
So what book did you most recently finish?
That's a good question. Here's the truth.
Don't tell me you read your book.
I don't read a lot of books.
No? Okay. No, that's all right. Nothing wrong with that.
I buy a lot of books and I start a lot of books, but I don't get through them. Probably the book that I most recently bought that I just started.
Okay.
It's called Balancing Acts.
All right. Who's that by?
By Daniel Lamar, who is the vice chairman of Cirque du Soleil.
Okay. And interesting.
It's basically about creativity and innovation. And I just got it recently. I just started it. But for me, I like to write. When I write about a topic that I don't know a lot about, that forces me to do research. And by that, I end up reading lots of stuff. I don't read books. I read lots of
So you're reading articles and blogs and
research and such. And I find that, every time I read a book, I gotta say I get a good idea from it. But I actually prefer to write. I find writing is
cathartic,
relax and catharsis. Yes, thank you.
So if you could go back in time, what would you tell your 16-year-old self?
Save all those old baseball cards, and which I fortunately saved most of them. And
okay, good.
But buy a bunch of boxes that haven't been opened yet, and then when the Pokemon cards come out, make sure you buy the first edition boxes and don't open them.
Perfect. If you could switch lives with one person for a day, who would it be?
Oh boy. Is it today a person or any time in history?
Hey, listen, anytime. Why not? It's your response.
So I've always thought I would love to know what our president does.
Okay.
And there's been some, whether it be, Obama, for example, I have a lot of respect for. I would love to have been a president of the United States for one day.
Yeah.
And just to have a sense of
the scale of it.
What's their life like?
Yeah. You just want to have that power in your hands, don't you?
Where's that button? There's a few countries we need to get rid of here. Where's that button?
What's the one thing you've always wanted to try, but you've been too scared to do?
Zip lining.
Ah, come on. You should try that. That's not that.
That might be on my bucket list sometime. I do want a zip line. It's kind of cool. I've not had a lot of chances, but I do want a zip line.
Yeah. It's a good thing to do. What's the most ridiculous fact that you know?
Oh, man. I don't think I know any ridiculous facts. I don't know a lot of facts. No really
factoids
good.
Going around in your brain. Don't worry. Don't worry. If you could resurrect one person from history and put them in the world today, who would it be?
God, that's a great question. Abraham Lincoln.
Why is that?
I think he was instrumental in a time when our country was tearing apart at the seams, and he was a leader in trying to bring all these parties together.
Mm-hmm.
And he had to make some really hard decisions. And so I think in history, I have a lot of respect for probably everything he had to go through.
Yep.
And decisions he had to make.
It was a tough moment in time. Yeah.
Yes, it was especially for America. It was a real trying time.
It was. Yeah. What's the one thing you wish you knew at the age of 19?
How important design skills are going to be.
Perfect. If you were not living in the US, where would you be living?
Ireland.
Okay. Yeah. So it was St. Patrick's Day yesterday, wasn't it?
Well, and I know I taught there a few times. I just think I've loved.
Oh yeah, because you're at Galway, aren't you? Yeah.
Yeah. I just think that I just love everything that happened in Ireland. It's always special for me.
Yeah. Good memories. If you could offer one piece of advice to upcoming data leaders, what would it be?
Spend less time on data and more time understanding how organizations create value.
Perfect. Where was the best vacation you've ever taken?
Sanibel Island in Florida.
Oh my goodness. I've been to Sanibel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have.
For like almost 20 years straight, we would go there, no matter where we were living.
Wow.
And it became this thing from our kids, and it was like this great bonding place. And we always went to the same hotel, and we always ate at the same restaurants, and always did the same thing. But it was just Sanibel Island was bury me there, baby.
Okay, we're not there yet. What's the one city you've always dreamed of traveling to?
That I haven't gone to. One city I've not
always dreamed of traveling to that you've never been to. Yes.
Oh, that's an interesting question. I've been to a lot of places. I've not been to Beijing.
Okay.
I think that'd be an interesting place to see.
Mm-hmm.
I've been most everywhere else. You know what? I've not been to Rome.
No.
And I've not been to Prague, and I've not been to Istanbul. And those are
beautiful places. Yeah. Wonderful places. I've been to each of them. So what was the best lesson your parents ever taught you?
Be humble.
What's your favorite food?
Pizza.
What's your favorite podcast?
Ours.
How do you relax?
No, actually, on the podcast, I love the podcast called Rewatchables.
Okay. Oh yes, you mentioned that before once. Yeah. How do you relax?
Right.
Mm-hmm. What's a movie that made you cry?
I'm a crier. There's been a lot of them.
Oh, you are you? Okay.
Oh yeah, God, you can't hardly watch a movie without crying. Maybe the first movie I remember really crying at was the old version, and even the remake of Phantom of the Opera. When I went to the Phantom of the Opera, in London, we saw it in London, which is a great place to see it. I cried like a baby at the end. Yeah.
Wow, amazing. So who would you say is your biggest inspiration?
My mom.
Very cool. What's your favorite exercise? Well, we know what it is, right?
Well, running is not my favorite.
Oh, it isn't. Okay.
I love shooting basketball hoops. I've gotten to a time where it's hard because of all the surgery I've had on my ankles and knees and such.
No.
I always found when I was growing up, that was always my escape.
Yeah. That's it. What, by yourself and just taking time to
work? I play imaginary games in my head. I had an imaginary team, and especially now that we're in the basketball March Madness now, it's be my time of year. And I would go out, and there was a park not too far from our house. And I'd go there, and it had lights, and a basketball hoop had light up.
Brilliant.
I'd go out there and shoot until 2 or 3 in the morning sometimes.
That is amazing. Dedication.
I loved it. It was very relaxing. I felt like I was
yourself.
Just myself.
Yeah. What's the one talent you wish you had?
Play a piano.
Okay. What's the one data trend that you dislike?
I think the one that has to go with anything that starts by you got to spend $5 or $6 million.
Yes.
Is wrong.
Yes.
Not to mention 20. First you spend $20 million. It's like you already lost the game.
Yeah, exactly. So out of those people that you've got on your playlist, do you have a favorite band?
I've got a very bizarre list. I like Aerosmith. I like a ZZ Top. I do like Ohio Players in Parliament. I like Jerry Reed. I mean, I have a whole wide range.
Yes.
Probably though, my favorite artist is a fellow named Maynard Ferguson. And Maynard Ferguson had a jazz band. And
I am going to write that down now.
When I was in high school, and even in college, I played in a jazz band.
Yeah.
And in fact,
I know. Yeah.
In the summer times, I had my own jazz band, and I was the lead trumpet player. And since I was the head of the band, we always played Maynard Ferguson songs.
Brilliant. So, I'm going to listen to that because I'm a trumpet player as well. So I think
you will. If you've never heard of Maynard Ferguson, the first time I heard him play, we were in Des Moines, Iowa. My high school band had just competed in the contest, and we'd won. We were really good. And that night they had a concert, and Maynard Ferguson played. And when he got done playing, I had tears rolling down my face.
Wow. Well, that happens when you see, I'd
never seen anybody do what he could do. And I was totally consumed.
Taken back. Yep. Here's the question that you were going to answer earlier. What's a superpower you wish you had?
I think a superpower that I wish I had, and I really do work on even now, is how do you take a complex topic and make it sound simple? And I manifest that in my class. I tell my students that if I explain a topic and you don't understand it, that's on me.
Yep.
Agreed. If I explain a topic and you don't understand it and you don't raise your hand and tell me you don't understand it,
that's on you. Yeah. Gotcha. What's something you don't want to be doing in 10 years?
Sitting home watching TV. Being retired. Yeah. Watching myself.
You don't want to be doing that at all. No. So looking back on your life, is there anything you would have done differently?
I probably would have done more stuff to take care of my health, and exercise more intelligently, especially in college when I played basketball.
Yep.
We didn't know things back then.
Of course, yeah.
And I had bad ankles. I developed bad ankles, and my senior year, I was so determined to play. My senior year, I would go to games on crutches.
Oh God!
And then they would tape up my ankles so I wouldn't.
Oh, you're joking.
But I could go forward and back, okay.
Right, but you couldn't twist your. I
couldn't twist, and so I was still pretty effective on the court, but the long-term damage was, my ankles were never the same, and they never will be.
That's terrible.
I didn't know enough about how to take care of myself.
Yeah, well, that's now we've got so many places we can go to and find out all that stuff. Yeah. So what's the best thing that happened to you this year?
This year, so not 20, we're talking about 2022.
Yeah, this new brand era where we've got little or no COVID. Things are going back to
I think the best thing is when we had all the kids back home.
Right.
So it was around the holidays. They all came home. It was great to have everybody home together.
That's wonderful. Nice family meals.
Yeah, and then we sit around and we chat. And my two boys and I, everything is about Simpsons. So we always are trading Simpsons jokes back and forth.
Okay, so here's a good question for you because I know you love movies. Which movie makes you laugh the hardest?
Wow, that's a really good question. Oh my gosh, which one makes me laugh the hardest? Well, I do like Role Models, makes me laugh. I like Old School. I think that's really fun.
Oh, that is hilarious. I love that.
But I almost have to go back Old School and go back to my favorite movie of all laughters is the movie Meatballs with Bill Murray.
Okay, I don't know that one. I have to go and watch that.
He plays a camp counselor, and when I was in high school, I was a camp counselor.
Okay.
And some of the things that he does,
you didn't do, did you?
I used to do
okay. Well, I'm going to watch that, and I'm going to say, Bill, how could you do that?
Meatballs it's just a hilarious movie.
So tell me, what's your greatest talent?
I think my greatest talent is my ability to stop, pause, understand, and replay back what I heard from somebody I've talked to make sure that I'm learning from. I'm really seek out opportunities to learn. And sometimes the best way to learn is to stop and make sure you think about what somebody has said.
Mm-hmm.
You personalize it for yourself. You put your own kind of flavor on it, and then you play it back and say, did I get that right?
Yep. Perfect. What 3 words best describe your leadership style?
Empowering is clearly number 1. Mentoring is number 2. Collaborative.
Perfect. So tell me, what are currently your top 3 data challenges?
Number 1 and number 2 and number 3 are all the same. Is that organizations don't understand how to figure out the value of their data. And because they start the conversation talking about data.
Yeah.
And not talking about how do we create value, and what are the KPIs and metrics against which we measure value creation effectiveness.
Yep.
That is the simple. If I get an organization to just
think about that,
that, and then the battles, then what I've done is I've successfully changed the frame of the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And now I can help them be more effective.
Yeah, agreed. What are the 3 words to describe living in the US?
Joy, frustration, opportunity.
Okay, that is something. What's the one thing that you had to learn the hard way?
How to unlearn.
That is a tough one. Yeah, that's really tough.
I also, if I could, there's a second one too.
Go for it.
The pain of being fired.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And when the first time that happens to you, it's always a bit devastating to have somebody tell you that they don't want you around. You're not a fit. Yeah. And sometimes you're not a fit, and sometimes they're not a fit.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Sometimes you stick with something longer than you should.
Yes.
But I think being able to learn from being fired.
Mm-hmm.
And I have an adage that I'm willing to be fired for whatever I believe in.
Yeah.
And twice in my career, it's my dream. My wish has come true.
Your adage has come true.
I took a stance on something, and somebody said, that's not how we do things. And I said, well, I don't do it that way. And they said, well, you can leave now.
Good. Well, you stick to your principles, right?
Yeah. When I die, Samir, that's the only thing I'm going to have with me is I'm going to keep my principles with, no matter what happens.
Your values.
My values.
You've done the things that are right by you and others.
Yeah, because I have to live with myself.
Exactly.
In those situations when I get fired for what I live in, after you sort of sort it away, you realize you have to live with your values.
Yep. True. So how do you handle pressure in your career?
I find that I have to get away from it and get someplace quiet. So meditating or prayer, hiking in the woods.
Yep.
Is how it helps me to pause and sort things out, and to really understand what is it that's causing my stress and my pain. Yeah. And then get to the source.
That's wonderful. What did you want to do with your life at the age of 12?
I wanted to be a general.
Really? I thought you were going to say basketball player.
Oh, basketball was up there too, but before that, I was like, I want to be a general. I want to lead armies. I want to do this.
Oh, my goodness.
I was
General Bill Schmarzo.
Yeah.
Well, perhaps you could rename yourself General Bill in the data world.
Well, the reality of that came, I actually had an appointment to go to West Point.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I know West Point. Yeah.
Yeah. But I ended up turning it down after applying for it and getting it, and was all excited about it. My parents were just, obviously, they were really excited.
Yeah.
I realized that was a hard decision for me to make at 18 years old.
Gosh.
Decide, my parents want me to go there, but I don't.
Interesting, because you talked about your ankles and stuff like that, and how that could have completely blitzed your career.
It'd been a different story.
Yeah, it would have. Yeah. So what's something you still like to learn?
I like being exposed to different perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
And my wife, Carolyn, does a great job of making me go watch movies that I wouldn't normally watch.
Right. Yeah.
And I walk out and I go, I actually really enjoyed that. I learned something. So
yes.
Getting pushed out of your comfort zone is it's really easy to stay within your lanes.
It is.
And I appreciate family and friends who are willing to say, no, let's do this.
You have to keep learning. You have to kind of, still keep switching on and making sure that you understand where the world is right now. So listen, we are on the last question.
Uh-oh.
You are stuck on an island. You can pick one food to eat forever without getting tired of it. What would you eat? Don't say it.
Pizza, Chicago style. I want sausage, I want mushroom, and I want green olive.
There you go. Now we know.
And maybe you could sneak a beer along with that.
I said no. I said food.
Okay. No, so I can have beer because it doesn't qualify. So I can have food, and then the beer just kind of floats it on this island.
It floats in, does it?
Yeah.
There'll be a little note in the bottle.
Make sure the beer is still in there. When the note comes.
Bill, I drank your beer, Samir.
I would come and find you then. I'd get off that island. You got my beer.
Bill Schmarzo, it's been wonderful speaking to you. Thank you so much for coming on 66 Questions. And I wish you a great day. Thank you so much.
Thanks again for the opportunity to embarrass myself.
Okay, no problem.